All right, to show you what I meant to do but didn't do, okay, remember how I just mentioned to you about drawing that invisible lasso around there? Well, that was correct. What I wanted to do then after I did that was to right mouse click and then choose center and center horizontally. All right. Now they're all equidistant from each other. So again, I did that too fast. I drew the invisible lasso around there, held down on the left mouse button, highlighted all of them, then right mouse clicked and chose center horizontally. There's other ways that you can do this, just so you know. All right, if you look down here, see these two things? Or can everybody see that? You can tell them that you want them to get close to one another, far apart from one another, etc. I'm just going to leave them like that. That's fine. Now they are set up horizontally. But as far as the system is concerned, they're three separate units. I don't want them to be three separate units. I want them to be basically one unit. So I'm going to click on the middle one. I'm going to use that one because to me it makes the most sense. So I'm going to click on there, and just like I did before, I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to set this to 10. All right? And the other ones are already set to 0, so they're fine. Okay? Now, and it may look a little bit weird what I'm about to do, but again, this is very similar to the way you would do it if you were iPhone designing or iOS designing. That is, I'm going to click on this one, all right, and I want that to be 0 everywhere, all right? And look, if you look, I don't want it to go there, but what I want to do is I want to grab this, all right, and I want that arrow to be right on the top of this one. See that? I want the arrow to be right on the top arrow of this one. And I want to do it again here. Looks kind of weird, but when you do it right, what you'll notice will happen when you do it is, and like I said, it takes a little bit of time. You know, you got to get used to doing it because it's weird. But I'm clicking on here, and I want it to go right on top of that one. And when I get done, these two work fine, and this one is being a little sensitive. There. So why did I do that? I mean, why the hell do you even care? Well, please look on the screen if you would. I'm going to go to my center one here. And see how that's 10? Everybody see this? How that's 10? I'm going to change it from 10 to 32. And I don't know why, but they all were supposed to move. All right? That one did, but that one didn't. I'm trying to show you how to basically set them all up so they're one unit. And I'm doing a pretty poor job of it. All right? Now, believe it or not, these three things are now connected, and we have built our first page. This is the first page of the interface. But what we want, or of the app, what we want to have happen, if you look on the screen, we want to run this. When we click Get Forecast, we want something to happen. As of right now, nothing is going to happen. If everything we wanted to happen, you look up on the screen here, please. If everything that we wanted to have happen were to happen on this screen, we could just do what we've been doing before. In other words, we could click here, over here, we could call onClick, and we could just, write a function. But that's not what we're doing. We're going to go between different screens. We're going to add another screen or another activity in just a second. All right? So, to add another activity to this, which is, again, what I want to do right now, so to add another activity, what you want to do, if you look up on the screen here, please, all right, is we want to be under our Java, all right, and, you all know what's up here. Later, this is the first time we're going to go into that manifest file and make some changes to it. This may sound a little bit weird. All right, maybe the whole class has sounded weird. I don't know. But this may sound a little bit weird. But if you want your Android app, to be able to use the internet, you've got to make a change in your manifest file, which basically says, I want to use the internet. Now, it'll work fine if you don't do that if you're using just an emulator, but the system doesn't know you're going to just use an emulator. So we're going to have to make that change in just a couple minutes. All right? All right. So I want you to go under Java, and under Java, I want you to go here. Mine is jpscott.rankin.edu.weatherapp. Yours may be something else. It's the folder right up above. It's the folder that holds main activity. Everybody hear that? It's the folder that holds main activity. All right? Okay. Once we're in that folder, I want us to right mouse click on the folder. Come on. It was just up and then it left. And I want you to choose new. And I want you to go down to activity and empty activity. Okay? Right mouse click on the folder that is holding main activity. Choose new. Go down about 2/3 of the way and find activity. And under activity, choose empty activity. This is going to be our second screen. This is going to be the screen that is going to hold all of our forecast information. Does that make sense? This is the screen we will want to come up. We will want this screen to come up when we click the button on the first screen. Does that make sense? All right, that's what we want to have happen. So, under empty activity, whoops, and of course I lost it. Under empty activity, all right, you've seen this before. No, main 2 is not a good name. But this page is going to hold our forecast information. So I'm going to call this forecast activity, which means that the layout name will be activity_forecast. Again, if you don't like my names, feel free to use your own, but later on when I need to use any name or anything else in code, you will have to do the same thing. All right? So I'm just going to click Finish. It's going to fairly quickly, hopefully, it's going to build my second page for me. There it is. All right? And you'll notice, if you look, this is the key thing to remember, is that it's called forecast activity. All right? That's the name we just gave it. Nothing surprising there. All right? Everybody all caught up? Everybody's good? All right. Then go back, if you would please, to your mainactivity.kt file. Right here. It's the one that's in the same folder as the one you just created. You say, well, I don't see it. Then just double click right here where it says main activity, and it should come up. All right? All right. Oops. I'm not sure what happened there, but that's fine. There. All right. Bless you. I'm going to come down, and in my onCreate that I have right here, I'm going to come down to the bottom of it, and I'm going to type in var get forecast button equals find view by ID. You know how this works. This is going to be a button. Oops. And in here, it's going to be, I'm going to have to make this smaller, otherwise you won't be able to see it all. So let me move that down. There we go. R dot ID dot, what do we call it? We called it button get forecast. Okay? Now, if you say, well, that's button get forecast and that's get forecast button, if you don't like that, make them both the same thing. It really and truly does not matter in the end. All right? It won't matter. Now what I have to do is I have to let the system know that when I click on that button, I want it to go to the other screen. Does that make sense? All right. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to say my new Get Forecast button, all right, equals, and I'm going to type a set on click listener, all right, and unresolved reference. Well, again, I can Alt Enter, all right. Well, why isn't it showing that? But it's not. We'll have to go back and add that in just a minute. Don't worry about it. It'll be added in a second. All right. But I'm going to come in here and say this: var forecast intent equals. We're going to make a new intent. Remember, that's how you go from one screen to the other screen. All right. So there is intent. We can use this forecast activity : class.java, and then we have to tell it to start the activity. All right, and I've got to resolve this set on click listener, which should be right. It's a big O, isn't it? Remember, that should have popped in, and it's not. I don't know why. Create abstract functions. Second, no, I don't want to do that. Set on click listener. That is correct. Create function. See, I don't want a function. I don't think so. I mean, I've got my code here. No. Oh, wait a minute. What is going on? Oh my goodness. I'm going to try doing it one other way to see if I can get this to work. Not had problems like this before. What is it? AS, is it? I shouldn't have to put the name of the button. All right. It was get forecast button dot set on click listener. My error, sorry. That's the code that you should put there. I copied it down wrong. I put an equal sign there, and I guess there should be an equal sign. And how will you know if this works? You will run the program. All right, it should come up with your initial screen. When you click the Get Forecast button, it should go to the other screen. Does that make sense? Has everybody had a chance to put that code in? All right, I apologize for the mistake. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go over to my activity_forecast.xml file. All right, this file right here. It says that it's not going to work until I have a successful build. Well, again, I've got to do some upgrades on my emulator. All right. If you get a message like that, you'll have to do it as well. But I should be able to come in, again, should be, and say rebuild project, and then that should come up after that gets done. So if you get an error or a message like that, you should be able to do a rebuild project, and then the message should go away. All right. I'm going to take for granted you didn't get that error. So go to your activity_forecast.xml file. Everybody hear me? Go to your activity_forecast.xml file. Once you are there, go into design mode. All right. Go into design mode. So I want to go back. I want to be at this one right here. I don't know if it's still not letting me see it. But what I want to do is I want you to come out and drag a list view out onto that. Do you hear me? I want you to drag a list view out into your activity_forecast XML file. All right? And we can keep it constrained. That's totally fine. I'm just going to manually put it in here. All right, so there's my list view. And there's stuff I can set for it, etc. I understand that. I'm not going to do that stuff right now. All right, It says I should set the height. It says I should set the width. What you can do once you get yours up and out there on the system, and don't do it like this. Do it the right way. Do it the way that you can do it. Is you can double click on it and you can pin, if you want to, you can pin all 4 of those to 0 so that it takes up the entire screen. And you know what? I have 17 steps, and we are on the middle of step 9. So I wanted to get to step 11, but since I'm having my own problems, I'm going to stop it right here for today. All right? We've got the interface built. And that second interface, even with me, it should take just a minute. So tomorrow will be virtually all code. What I will do when I get done with this, please listen. What I will do when I get done with this is I will take my copy, I will put it on a flash drive, and anyone who wants it can have it. You don't, so I don't want it. If yours works, there's no reason you should have mine. Yours might work and might look a lot better, etc., than mine, which is fine. All right? But we should be able to finish that up tomorrow. What I want to do, if you'd all listen up for a second, what I want to do is hopefully we can finish this tomorrow. And if we can, Thursday and Friday, I want to give you both days as lab. Then next week we'll do 1 or 2 recycle view examples. All right, then we will go on the next week. Because I only want to lecture 2 or 3 days a week. I want to give you at least a couple days a week to be working on this. And my hope is during this time, you're not in here and you're not on the internet playing games. You're not in here and you're not on your phone. You know, that you are actually in here and you are investigating. So you're taking a look at what's out there, and you're taking a look at, other apps that are at the App Store or something else. You're trying to come up with an idea so that by April 3rd, you are going to give me that write-up that's going to explain what it is you're going to be working on. All right? And I wanted to mention one last thing. Boy, oh boy. There's hardly anything you can